Happy New Year, everyone. Hello, hello. Happy New Year to you and welcome. And thank you so much for your flexibility. I know there was a little technical issue with the other room, and so we had to switch it at the last minute. But here you all are. This is amazing. I want to thank you so much. And I want to say Happy New Year to all of you. And thank you for being here and just sending you all so many blessings around this new beautiful year and this gift that we've been given to have. So people are coming in. Let's jump in the chat. Let's share some love. I'm going to keep watching the admissions because people keep popping in, but let's jump in the chat here and say hello to everyone. Yes, hello. Maggie, Happy New Year to you as well. Jana is here from South Carolina. Hello, everyone. Trish is here. Karen is here. Hello, Karen. Beautiful. Charlotte, North Carolina, close to my heart. Yeah, you guys are all jumping in there. Thank you. Welcome, you guys. Janet, Happy New Year's from Naples. Nancy says, yes, beautiful. Killy is here from Guatemala. Did I meet you in Guatemala? Oh my goodness, I love Guatemala. Very, very close to my heart. Was thinking about a lot of that today. It's one of my one of the favorite things this year that took place was, again, going back to Guatemala. So thank you for that. Victoria's here, Help's here, Team's here, Lucy is here. Oh my gosh, you guys. Hello, 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 and welcome. Heather's here from Vancouver. Beautiful. Okay, so let me check. We have 21 people in the room. Hang on, I'm admitting them all. I know it is a very busy start to the year, and let's really just slow it down. Let's slow it down. And that's what this offering and gathering is all about. It's so interesting because I was thinking today as I was preparing for you, and I was thinking about when I had originally started working on a spiritual guidance course, and it had to be about, well, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, but it had to be about 2015 or 16. I want to say at the latest 16 that I really started a life class. And it's so interesting because divine timing is something that's so important, and not you controlling it. And when I'm saying that, I'm saying it about me because I've wanted to do the beautiful spiritual lessons that we learn in and of itself for the teachings, because they've changed my life, and I know they have the power to change other people's if you're ready. And it just wasn't time. And even though I, as Suzanne, wanted to speed it up and do a life class and let's do it, the universe has other plans. And it's one of the biggest lessons for me is learning that I'm not in control of this, and to listen for the guided steps, the next step. And those steps are really about co-creation and about service. What am I here for? And so even if I want to do something, I know that there's a collective agreement that is of a higher nature, and that in divine timing, if I keep saying yes, I will show up for this, for whatever that next coherent impulse is for me to share. It reveals itself very clearly, and I'm wise enough to know at this point that it's not coming from here, and it's not what do I want, it's what's really the bigger ask of the big picture. So what I'm trying to say today is that it's such an honor and blessing that today is the day and now is the time. And I also want to highlight that it was a very long time ago. So if you go in human time, that timeline, 2015, 2016, quite a ways away, right? And so when it's the moment that universe, God, source, whatever your belief system said, now is the moment. What a magical thing that is. And I'm just so grateful to be in this entire journey with you, but also to cement this beginning of this new year with you, with this beautiful gathering, that I can share my journey. I can share what I've learned, and hopefully it will be of great healing, great inspiration, and maybe what you are exactly wanting to, or what you needed to hear, or water plants, or go even further. So yes, welcome Kathy and Sandra. And I know a lot of our beautiful doula givers, students who have been on the journey. I've talked about my journey and the path, and we've heard about the lessons from those at the end of life. And when they've implemented that wisdom, it's changed their life as well. And so it's a beautiful time to really be meeting today in the sacred, in this beautiful moment of this beginning of this new year. So I am going to start to share my my screen. So first, I just want to say thank you. And I also want you to know that I have one eye on the chat because people keep coming in, and I know we switched the room. So if you would just be patient, I'm just going to do 1 minute of continuing to do that. And then what I think I'm going to do is see if we can quiet the chat for a little bit while we're doing our presentation. And then what we'll do is come back on and do live questions and answers to anything that you want to ask. So thank you for your flexibility. We are recording this, so I will send you a replay of it as well. And without further ado, I am going to share my screen, and we are going to get started on the journey today that I guess has been something that I've wanted to do for quite some time. So if you see the screen where I am sitting in Strawberry Fields in Central Park, if you can just give me a thumbs up that you see that screen. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. One of my favorite places in the world, and I'll just let you know, is Central Park, New York City. You almost walk over the threshold of going into that park, and it becomes this wonderland. There's so much incredible, beautiful energy. And again, that's going to be part of what we are talking about today. Energetic frequency. It's not a destination that we are trying to get to. It's actually an energetic frequency. So I'm going to talk more about that. So this is a Death Doula's guide to a great life. And this is our masterclass, how to access the joy of being. And yeah, that was a beautiful day, as they always are there, really accessing the present moment and the joy of being. For those of you who know that we had a book out this year, and I say we because it's a collective journey, all of us. One of the things that made me really happy to see is the media and mainstream media that was reviewing the book and pulling out the sacredness that was in there, the threads of consciousness and sacredness and what we've learned. And it's not a surprise, because I think as you're feeling it as well, the world is shifting. There is an amazing moment that's happening now. And there is a shift for all of us that need to make a choice. And that choice is this, and there's no judgment here. It's either choosing love or it's choosing fear. And you can see that almost every turn that we make, every engagement, every day, that we're given opportunities to make that choice. And there are many times that you might get triggered and have a reaction and want to choose something of underneath fear, which is anger and separateness and all of the things. But it's really important to understand how the bigger picture of what's happening here, and what is your role in it? What is your role? You're not here by an accident. You're not here by accident. Everyone here is here for a reason. So we're going to talk about what end-of-life patients have shared, and then what I've used in my life, and what I hope to share with you that can help you. So one little lifetime. And the future is now. And it's very interesting, because when I started working with people at the end of life, it taught me everything about how to live. And I started living each day like it was one little lifetime. And why I started doing that is because I was working with people as a hospice nurse that were all different ages, people that were diagnosed very quickly, sometimes would have an end of life within a short amount of time, and people younger than me, all different ages. And so I realized that, wait a minute, this journey that we've been gifted will come to an end. I don't know when it will come to an end, and it can happen at any time. So what is important to me, because I kept hearing over and over again from my patients that they missed it. They missed it. Their regret was that they didn't fully live. And so I said, okay, Suzanne, if that's the regret that people at the end of life are saying, and they're all talking about that thread, what is important to you in this one day? So you're not waiting for the weekend, or you're not waiting for things to be in order for you to think that you're going to be happy, because, by the way, happiness is a choice, but that we can go into that a little bit more. What's important for you today that you want to experience, that if today was your last day, that you would be able to be at peace with that? And so I started really picking the pillars of the day and what was important, to make sure that I didn't miss it. And so living each day like one little lifetime has served me really, really well, because the truth is we just don't know how many days that we have on this beautiful journey that we're in. So in this masterclass, you will learn, number one, how this is the time in our humanity for the big shift that is taking place. We are all being called to go from a world running on fear, separateness, power, and wealth to one of love and compassion. We've gotten so far, just like we've gotten so far removed from acknowledging that end of life is part of the journey and a natural sacred part, we've also gotten so far removed from our being part of who we are. And number two, we're going to talk about how when we raise our individual vibration, our individual consciousness, when we do our own healing, we raise the collective consciousness. And number three, how new research in both neuroscience and quantum physics is validating that we can take control of our mind, body, and life to awaken to our highest level of consciousness in this experience. There's an accelerated thing that's happening right now with consciousness, and I know that we all feel it. So what is life mastery? And it's not like life mastery is in an ego type of way, the word mastery. It means, aren't we all trying to figure it out? I think everyone, we've been searching, and I think we're all trying to look for happiness. This is what I realize, come to believe, is that we've been told the wrong things that gets you there. So people at the end of life will say, and on paper, they've had all the money, they've had the perfect relationship and jobs and money and everything, and many of them say they weren't happy. And so we have to be really careful of what belief systems. There's nothing wrong with all those things. There's nothing wrong with it. But we have to be very careful with what we have been taught to think of as happy, think of as success, because most people are not happy, are not for the most part. And so are we teaching, or have we been taught the wrong things that really bring you happiness and sustainable happiness? So life mastery is the understanding that there is a spiritual wisdom, a life force inside each one of us. And this life force is all knowing, and it is all connected to all beings and to everything. This spiritual part of us is our true being, our higher self, or what you can call your soul, your spirit of who you truly are. And when we understand that, and then understand how to navigate, what is this life's journey about? And what is the navigation between the human and the being part? We can really start to hit a place of aligned fulfillment. So if I may introduce myself, my name's Suzanne O'Brien. I am a former hospice and oncology nurse. I'm a founding member of NHPCO's End of Life Doula Council, a former vice president of NEDA, over 20 years of experience working with those at the end of life, which, by the way, is working with life. I've been blessed and honored to be with over 1,000 patients at the end of life from all different cultures and backgrounds. Have been blessed to teach over 369,000 people how to care for the dying around the world, and the founder and creator of the International Doula Givers Institute. So you may know me from that work. This is life work. I am the author of the international best-selling book, and thank you, because this touches all of us, The Good Death, that could have been called The Good Life. So, that will be a book coming in the future, but they're not separate of one another. And the amount of people that are having, again, the healings and the change in perspective from this knowledge that we've completely removed from the world. in my opinion, is one of the greatest teachers, if not the greatest teacher, about how to live. There is an evolutionary global shift happening right now. And so it's a magical, incredible, honored time to be part of this experience at this moment. And I know it doesn't seem like that. And I understand how intense this journey is. But we're witnessing and taking part and playing a role in a global shift that's happening right now. This is the time in our humanity that the big shift is taking place, and we are being called to make a choice. Third dimensional world is that human world running on fear, power, separateness, wealth, to a fifth dimensional world, one of love, unity, and compassion. You feel it, you see it. There are choices that are happening now, and there's no judgment here, but the choice is yours. When we do our individual healing, we raise our individual consciousness, and that raises the collective consciousness, not just of humanity, but the planet is having an upgrade as well. Just the outfit of the day, right? So when we hear from end-of-life patients that we're going to talk about their wisdom in a minute, this is just the outfit of the day that you've been gifted to have this experience in. And treat it well. Nourishment, rest, mindfulness, all the things that we need. And I know, and I'm working, we're all works in progress. But when our end-of-life patients share what this journey is about, this is just a stop on your journey of consciousness of who you are. And this is the outfit of the day in which we've chosen to have the journey in. So understanding this and knowing how to access your higher guidance, the higher self, the being part of who you are, and that is your heart guidance. So I'm going to teach you in a minute about the difference between your human part and your higher guidance system, because when we know that there are two, and we know how to focus and why one is speaking and why we want to listen to, obviously, the higher one that is always working on our aligned path of purpose, it can change everything for you as it has for me. So the being heart guidance, part of who you are, is the key to navigating, to thriving in this human being experience, because it will always be working on your behalf, giving you signs, trying to put you on the right path. It holds all of the answers to what we're truly looking for. Universal life mastery. It is only through the heart guidance, your true soul self, and the being part of us that you find true peace, you find true fulfillment, and extraordinary co-creation with the universe can be found there. So when we talk about happiness, and when people say, this is what you need to do to be happy, go to college, I'm just going to dial it down from back in the day, I think, when you could only become as a man, a doctor or a lawyer, or maybe a woman could be a teacher or nurse back in the day. Marry the perfect person, have 2.5 kids, get the house with a picket fence and a dog, and then you'll be happy. And is that really true? No, it's not true. No, it's not true. And so are we really looking for happiness, or are we looking for, is what we're really trying to find, fulfillment and a connection to something so much greater than just who we are as the human part? And I'm going to say it's absolutely the fulfillment. And so here we are. We're here to hold the frequency of love and co-create with the universe. That's why you're here. You're a light within the big light of the universe. And how bright you shine is a choice. And how you shine for others to see their path is a choice. So we are here to do that. And again, there's no judgment, but you are the only one in control of alignment and happiness and fulfillment and joy and creation, or a path of feeling separate and lost. No one else can do this for you. You are in full control of it, and there's no judgment there. But I'm going to show you how this works, because if this is something that you've been looking for, it's here today. So my story is when I finally decided to become a nurse after trying different careers and different things that really left me thinking, obviously those things were not it. And then the nurse really appealed to me. It was a helping profession. I'd be doing something daily that had an impact, that I could do many different things and be, in just a nurse in many different capacities. But I knew, or I thought, that what I would be doing on a regular basis would be helping people. And 6 months into becoming a mainstream nurse in the hospital, I realized that I would never get the fulfillment from being a nurse that I thought. In fact, it was moral injury. I was seeing things. The patient was the last concern, it seemed, in the big picture of the hospital, and their families weren't getting what they needed. And it was really heartbreaking. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I was 3 years in of school and student debt. And I thought I made the worst decision. And at that time, I remember exactly where I was. At that time, I heard a voice inside. It was a small, quiet, but connected voice that said, go to hospice. And I said, why am I hearing that? I have no end of life experience, and that makes no sense to me analytically. But something, when I heard it, there was a calm, there was a peace. I didn't know why. It didn't make any, again, analytical sense. So I thought, well, I've taken everyone's advice, and now I'm 3 years in on this one, and I really thought this was going to be it. I don't know what this is, and I don't know, it's not making any analytical sense. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm just going to follow it because everyone else has been steering me wrong. I've been going the wrong path. Step into the unknown. Trust in the unknown and the uncomfortable. And the first day that I went out to see those hospice patients, I knew I was in the exact place I was supposed to be in my life. It was like a piece of puzzle fitting. It was like breathing air for the first time. I knew that there had to be more to life. And so I took that step into that unknown. And that's where the magic happens. And is it really unknown? Because there's a huge part of you, the higher part of you, that it's all known, that it's all known. So we've been really taught about what you can see and what you can put in your mind in analytical space is the only truth there is. And that will keep you very stuck and very small. There's a much bigger picture going on here. And it's when you step out of the human part into the being wisdom of who you are and connect to that universal energy of unconditional love, of service, of all of it. That's where your path just breaks wide open. And it's not just your path. So it's not just your path of work. It's your path in all of it, because it can't just happen in one place. Your personal life will change. Your health will change. Your finances will change. And also, have we attached the wrong thing to success? A dollar amount and how big is your bank account? Does that really bring you happiness, or is wealth a connected feeling, a feeling of something so much greater? And we can go on and on and on about people who've talked about service and how giving gives you so much more than you receive, but it's not an understatement. The feeling of connectedness, of service, and making a difference is a wealth that you cannot get anywhere else. And it just becomes abundant on all different levels. So what I saw at the bedside then of these end-of-life patients, and what I've learned at the bedside of those leaving the world, confirmed this and changed everything for me. As their physical bodies in front of me were diminishing, as they were shedding the outfit of the day, okay, their spiritual body was growing. And there's one point in that journey that they get their spiritual wisdom, their spiritual eyes, and they're like, Suzanne, I get it now. I know why all of that happened, and everything starts to make sense. It's the most profound experience to be a part of. And the learning could not be of greater life learning than this wisdom from people before they leave this world. And if we're not paying attention to that, we are losing out. And so when they say, now I know why that happened, it was happening for me and everything was happening for a reason. And this was the important thing. And this is what it was trying to teach me. And what was incredibly powerful to me is that people were all saying the same things at the end of life, no matter what religion and cultures. They were saying four main things, what I call the four truths. Different cultures, different religions. And I started taking notes and paying attention to this because, wow, they're not trying to convince you. They're not trying to sell you anything. They want to share. And there's a peace and serenity and excitement when they were able to put everything together. They found healing and they found the understanding. And it does all make incredible sense, right? When we talk about it and what we're going to share about the human being experience. But the fact that people from all cultures and religions who thought a certain way their whole entire lives were coming down to these four truths changed everything. Truth number one, there is no death. There is no death. Yeah. The gift you've been given to have the experience runs out. Like your car runs out after a certain point, or something else runs out of battery and energy. Think about that. If people are saying that there is no death, would we have death being the number one fear in our world right now? And that fear is creating really, really intense things happening. Number two, we're all connected. We are all connected to one unconditional loving energy. Wow. Doesn't that change things? If we all knew that we are connected, would I wish anything but love to everyone in this world? Would I ever want to cause anyone harm? Would I meet them right where they are with compassion? This includes the animals. This includes the planet that are all living entities. Everything has energy. Number three, everything happened. Every experience happened for a reason. And I know, I understand. I've been through it too. This is the life school that we're in. Hard, painful. So how can we say that was everything happened for a reason? Something very painful. Why would that happen? What reason could that possibly have offered? But end-of-life patients, when they look back on things that they have been holding for 30, 40, all their lives, grudges, anger, whatever it may be, that, no judgment, and they look at it through a different lens of what that was trying to offer them in a learning, in an evolution. And growth is painful, as we all know. They talk about there being no judgment, that we're not being judged, that everyone's on their path. And so meet people exactly where they are, with empathy, with compassion, with no judgment. And when these things we talk about happen for a reason, when someone has done something to you that has caused you pain, and we've all been there, are we able to look at it at a certain point through a higher perspective, with empathy and compassion and no judgment, and try and understand what the learning for us was in that scenario? And number four, all about learning unconditional love, not conditional love. There's a big difference. A lot of conditional love is out here. Love you if you look this way. I love you if you do this. I love you if you do this for me. You look like this. You follow what I ask you to do. All of the things. And again, even with all good meaning, our parents, which we develop our first identity of value, conditions, lots of conditions on the love many times. Yes, there's that unconditional love there that's there as well. But meaning well, they're trying to shape you and form you to be successful in this world. And that comes with sometimes conditions that make us really question our true nature at times. And so we have to really be understanding of conditional love and of regular, unconditional love and conditional love. And so really being able to differentiate and understand where that comes from and understand that this is about unconditional love. So these are the four truths. There's no death. We are all connected to one unconditional loving energy. Everything happened for a reason, for support of your growth. And it's all this journey of the human experience, which is super hard. Let's call it what it is. We can say it's a graduate school right now, okay, in the human experience, an intense graduate school that we're part of. It's all to help us to elevate to that higher level. And it's rapidly happening, which is incredible. Now, I want to share with you the story of the ALS patient that taught me about consciousness. So, as a relatively new hospice nurse, and by the way, if I can say this again, and this is really important, I had no end-of-life experience when I became a hospice nurse. Kind of terrifying, right? The sound of that, for many reasons, yes. But here's the thing that I want to share with you is that I knew I was supposed to be there. And I was scared, but I also knew that my knowing was stronger than fear, right? So fear can either keep you stuck and small, or you can say, okay, yeah, this is a little scary, or maybe even a lot scary, but I'm doing it anyway because I know I'm supposed to do it. So here I am filling in for another hospice nurse. So I didn't know this patient at all. And I go to see her. She's 40 years old. She has ALS. She has advanced ALS. She's on hospice at this point. She can't speak. She can't do anything for herself. She is on the couch, propped up with a pillow behind her head, holding her head up. And here I am there. And so as I'm making the visit, her daughter, her 17-year-old daughter, is coming in and out of the house, slamming the doors, super angry. I mean, we understand teenagers, but her mother's dying. And so super angry. I'm trying to connect with this woman. She had a board with letters on it that you were supposed to try and like point to, and she could blink and so spell out words. And at one point, her head fell off the pillow and was dangling like a rag doll. And I was really scared. And I was, asking her, I was coming towards her and I was asking her if I could prop up her head, even though she couldn't tell me, she couldn't say anything. I was really nervous. And she was shining this love and this smile on me, the most beautiful, loving energy. And I thought at that moment, how can this woman who's dying of ALS at 40 years old be shining this beautiful smile? She was taking care of me in that moment. What is this? What is it? And now I understand what it is, because my patients from that point, several of them, again, I've worked with a lot of people at the end of life, said to me, Suzanne, that cancer was the best thing that happened to me because it connected me with who I truly am, with the being part. So we take away all of the personality identity that we attach in this experience to value what you look like, what you do, your job titles, all the things are removed now, and they found the inner place of home. And I remember working at the Thailand temple in 2019, sitting in a circle of patients at the end of life. And these people shared that the time in the temple had been some of the happiest time in their whole entire life. And they were dying. And it's because they found that space again. The temple had a 4-recipe lesson pillar, let's call them 4 pillars that they worked with. They took out all the sugar in the diet and used just plant-based. They did meditation. They did yoga, and they practiced forgiveness. And people's lives were changed. And so what I want to share with you today is the understanding that we are human beings, and let's not wait till we're at the end of the life to connect with the being part of who we are. Let's do that now. So why is life mastery important to understand? Because aren't we all searching? We all want to be happy. We're in the school of life. You are here for a reason. There's no accident that you're here, and you're here to grow. And we know that growing can be painful. So how does it work? No greater teacher than people who are leaving this world, that people who get all of the information and can share with us what is important, truly important, and what we can do to live in that higher flow of alignment, of purpose, of service, of the joy of being. So there are only two states of being and guidance. Number one, your ego, your human part. And again, remember, there's no judgment here. Most of us are not even maybe on this call. It's different. But most of the people in the world are not even aware that there are two main parts to who they are in the experience. So if we're only riding on the human ego part of that, is just consisting of everything that you've taken in this experience, society, belief system, schooling, culture, and they don't know that there's a soul part. It's very difficult to navigate because you're going to stay in that separate, I have to get it before she gets it, all of the things. My end-of-life patients taught me about these two guidance systems and how understanding them and integrating them is the secret to mastery of life, of joy, of love, of fulfillment, and co-creation. There's not one that's bad. There's not one that's good, because it's all love. It's about understanding the two, and it's about being able to trust, let the higher self of who you are be your guidance system, and let your personality, the human part, be the instrument in which you live out your gifts in this world in. That's mastery, and that's integration. We can learn and practice to access this part of us now. We can do that, but think of it like a muscle. First, we have to know about it. Then we have to strengthen the connection. Life's journey is about 3 stages of awakening. You can talk about it in 3 specific parts. Number 1, having the human experience, forgetting who you are, finding that your belief system is that you're separate now and that we have those painful experiences, and then getting back to a place of healing and finding our way back to healing and letting go of, again, the traumas and experiences and things that the false belief systems that have shaped us. So that's the first stage. And then learning about love and non-judgment and knowing that we're created to all. So we get to a place, first, it's about me, right? I'm come out, you're the little pumpkin, you're doing the things. And then, we have our time, right? Teenagers, 20s, lots of challenges, lots of hurt, betrayal, all the things that really do hit the core. And we've got to find our way back to the place of our heart. And so when we do, and when we can start to, and forgiveness is the tool, forgiveness is the transformative tool. Remember what I just shared about the temple in Thailand, but it's happened with my patients as well. When they've utilized forgiveness, it has been the most incredible, beautiful end of lives I've ever seen. We don't have to wait to the end of life to utilize forgiveness. It's not just forgiveness of others, it's forgiveness of self as well. No judgment. We're all learning, doing the best we can with where we are at the time. Get to a place of love, non-judgment, knowing that we're all connected. The third stage, if we get to it, is allowing co-creation to happen. Remember, we said just a minute ago that mastery is understanding to strengthen the higher guidance system. Let it be my guiding force. And then let me use this human experience, this beautiful gift I've been given, as the instrument to share the gift. I don't try and figure it out. It's co-creation. What is my next step? What is my next step of service that I am supposed to share? Let it come in, because it will. Not you directing, allowing it. Let go of ego, agenda, surrender to the flow of your higher guidance system. And it is a flow. Remember, go to hospice. That doesn't make any sense. Ego comes in. That makes no sense. By the way, we take a big pay cut, like all the things. Made no sense. But I did it anyway. Thank God I did. Thank God I did. I didn't see where it was going because my analytical mind could not see it. And if I allowed it to shut it down, we would never be here today. So you want to surrender to that higher guidance system, and then take the inspired action when it comes. So here's the thing, everyone. All the great inventors knew this. Remember, I've been doing this for a very long time. So when I've been teaching and studying and reading and just absorbing, all the great inventors knew this. So let's talk about a couple of them. This has been known throughout history. So Albert Einstein said, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Confucius said, he who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. And if I may do my own interpretation of that, control the ego mind. First, we have to understand there's an ego and a higher guidance mind. And that ego is separate, keeping you separate, keeping you spinning in what I call the lesson loops, right? You know, if you don't learn a lesson, it'll keep coming back around. Gosh, I don't want to spend more time in lessons than I have to. And there's no judgment here. But what he says there is when you understand and can quiet that subconscious mind and hear the higher guidance one, that's the mightiest warrior. And we can go on and on. There's so many different creators. Henry Ford talks about it. I think Picasso talks about it. I mean, it's just beautiful to hear. And so this has been known. Now there's something called universal laws. They've been in place since thousands of years, the beginning of time. But I want to talk about just one that is really, I think, poignant. If you only walk away with this tonight, this will change your life. The law of vibration. Now, I know you've heard about something called the law of attraction. I'm not a big fan because the law of attraction has been attached to a lot of things that are monetary things, like, oh, law of attraction. You just think about this big mansion and 10 cars and all of that, and you get it. It's not that it's wrong, but it's really the law of vibration. So here's what I want you to hear. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. And what I mean by that is what you are a vibrational match for. So this is where there's incoherence going on. My heart tells me I want to serve and I want to do things, but my subconscious mind is always telling me you're not good enough, you can't do this. There is a incoherent energy and frequency that's happening with me, and it's keeping me exhausted. It's keeping me spun around. All of the things. So we want to talk about coherence. So even though my heart wants something, if I am not aligned with my thoughts, remember what Confucius just said, right? That who masters the mind is the greatest warrior. My thoughts to loving, positive thoughts create positive, loving emotions, create positive action. I am in coherence. My total body of energy, 4 bodies of energy, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, is it all in coherence. Now I am a magnet to what I'm sending out. I hope you got that. I hope you got that. So it's law of vibration. So you may say, why am I not getting to where I need to go? You are out of coherence in one of those areas, and it's important to be able to be coherent. So you have 2 states of guidance, the ego, the human part, and the soul heart part. They've done a lot of different studies with your energy that comes from your heart being so much more powerful than your mind. And by the way, being connected to all and everything. Everything is about choice. There is no judgment here. But it's also challenging, right? So we're in this human experience that it's free will, all about choice. And here's the thing, if we're not aware that there's a subconscious programmed part of us that's telling you to do that, and you can't do that, and you should be angry because that happened to you, and blah, 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 which is keeping you stuck in that frequency. If we're not aware of that, we're going to be living that reality. So we have to be first and foremost aware of the human being existence and experience. And then it comes down to a choice of love or a choice of fear. And under fear, anger, resentment, separateness, jealousy, all the things, no judgment here. I am not judging. We're putting it all out on the table because it's time. Because it's time that we're all being asked, and we want that elevated space, because this journey can be absolutely amazing if you want to choose that. When you replay a story in your mind, and we've all done it, of anger, resentment, guilt, shame, you stay stuck in that vibration, whether you want to or not. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this, and he says, people say, he says, why are you this way? And somebody says, I am this way because this happened to me. And look, I understand pain. Been there myself. Took years. And you know what was the catalyst to really letting go? My end of life patients. They taught me everything. Repeating the story keeps you in that vibration, whether or not you want it. So really important. That's a doula giver's pearl. So it is through coherence of your thoughts, of your emotions, and of your actions that you find your true alignment, that higher frequency of your aligned path. And when it starts opening up, everything changes. When you learn to follow heart guidance, your higher self, your entire life changes. You learn to respond, not react. It doesn't mean that things aren't going to still happen, by the way. Life is going to be lifing, right? Things are going to be happening because that's just part of it. But it doesn't sweep you off your feet. It doesn't knock you off like when we react to it. It's almost like you have this buffer around you. Look, things are not ideal all the time, but I look at things like, okay, why is that happening? And what can I do with that? Does it help me if I get all angry or, and just reactive? Of course not. Of course not. And then I also can't respond in a way that would make a good choice of what to do next if there was an action step to take. So step back and breathe and try and look at it through a higher perspective. When you learn to look at experiences for the lessons or the gift that it's trying to provide you, your whole life will change. So find that place of inner peace, no matter what your outside circumstances are. When you find that joy of being, you can connect to everyone and everything. You really feel a connected energy to all and everyone. Connect to an energetic state of that joy, of ease, and something so much greater than you. And I feel like that is what we're all looking for, right? That exhale of, wow, I'm supported. I'm in this. We're in this. And number 3, access your higher guidance that unfolds your path of your purpose and how to consciously co-create with it. That is the joy of being. My patients at the end of life have said that there was a blueprint that they had coming into this world. You can believe whatever you want to. I'm going to share with you what they have shared, and I believe this myself. That you had a choice before coming in, what you were going to learn, what you were going to experience, what you hope to accomplish. A blueprint, a soul blueprint. And when you access your higher guidance system, it starts to put you on your path to that. And that is the joy of being. Access the joy of being. Life changes. Living each day like one little lifetime, life changes. Live in service. That's what it's ultimately about. Contributing. And when you live in a higher state of loving frequency, that is service. When you live in coherence of your mind, of your actions, of your heart, that is service. And it's a collective, it touches the collective wave and the shift that's happening right now. And then co-create with the universe, whatever it's asking of you, wherever it's asking for you to go, be a yes. You know, I think that everyone should have to sit with somebody at the end of life, because it changes your perspective on everything. The minute that I did that, it was just a yes, whatever was coming in for me. However, again, not controlling it, not trying to figure it out, but just being present in the moment and the experience and grateful. And wherever I can be of service, show me. Maple says yes too. Okay. Sorry, guys. We are live. And she does have a lot to say. So what can you do? You can choose to practice. You can strengthen your spiritual connection. Again, it's all about choice and there's no judgment. Remember, we started today with divine timing. Everything is divine timing. We are 4 bodies of energy. So understanding this is very important, because you're a physical, and I'm really sorry about that. Pumpkin. I think people are still doing some of the fireworks. It upsets her. Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies of energy, 4 total that make up you, and all need to be nourished differently and have different needs. So it's very important to understand that balance, right? And that coherence, because your emotional body is going to be, you know, where we store unforgiveness and trauma and those type of experiences. A lot of energetic blocks are there. The mental body of energy is going to be, I'm so sorry. Maple, come here. The mental body of energy is going to be where we have the subconscious loop, where we have that subconscious loop that keeps going over and over again. What about your physical body? What is it needing? Does it need rest? I mean, our nervous systems are usually stretched to the max right now and just trying to survive in the world today, if we're not aware that we need to disconnect from all of the incredibly stressful and heavy density media and social media and people just being angry and all of that. And again, there's no judgment, but you need to be sensitive to what you're doing and who you are to, again, create that place of balance within your body. So the mental body is the home of the ego. Rewire the years of programming. This takes time, right? Many of us here are middle-aged, and so decades of thinking a certain way and being told a certain way. It takes time to undo that. The most important thing is to recognize when it is the subconscious mind, the false beliefs that we've picked up. And so I want to give you a little technique tonight, if I may, that has helped myself and many other people, is when it's called the Ray technique that I developed. And when you hear the subconscious mind or the ego voice saying, you can't do that, or you're not good enough, or you're not lovable, or, you know, whatever it may be, recognize that that is what it is. And then acknowledge it like a fearful child. Think of your ego, because again, everything is love. Everything is love. So think of it. There was a time in your life that you needed, maybe you were hurt and your ego really was keeping you and needed to keep you at that point from being hurt again. But you're here now. You're evolving. You're the adult of you. And so you can acknowledge that inner child, that fearful inner child, for trying to keep you safe. But you can say, I understand, but it's okay now. I've got this. We're okay. Integrate. You go forward together. You know, when you push something away, it strengthens you. And again, it's all about love. So you want to love that inner child, that ego part of you that was necessary at a point for probably keeping you safe after you were hurt. But you've got this now. So recognize, acknowledge, and integrate. And that will help with your mental body being in balance. Consciousness and energy, you shape the state of your experience. This is what they're talking about now in quantum, the new quantum theory of reality and neuroscience. So from life happens to me, the thinking of this happens to me, to I'm co-creating my reality. That's pretty heavy, isn't it? But there is a lot of truth to that. So everything is energy. My thoughts, my vibration, it's bringing things into form. So I want you to stay with me on that, because it's really important that you understand this, is that you want to, okay, we got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. They got it. They understand. Um, Really, really important. So let's talk about what neuroscience says. Your attention, beliefs, and emotional state train your brain's predictive model of reality, shaping what you notice, how you feel, and which possibilities you perceive as real. There's something that I hear over and over again. People say, I started to think I want to be a doula giver. And all of a sudden, all these end of life doula, death doula, it was popping up all over. I was noticing it all over. If that's happened to you, that's what they're talking about there. Quantum physics shows that at the smallest scales, reality doesn't fully solidify until there is an interaction and a measurement. The universe holds possibilities, and interaction determines which ones show up. Your life, where you place your attention and where you place your energy, where you place your vibration, is a magnet, and it's going to bring more of that to you. What are you asking for? Are you even aware of the message you're sending out? Your repeated thoughts and feelings rewire your brain and nervous system. It rewires your magnet. It intensifies that. Over time, this creates the state of your experience, your inner reality, and the outer patterns that you keep living. This is why practices like intention, gratitude, presence, and love are not just nice ideas. It's really true. They are energetic and neurological retraining tools that change how reality shows up for you. And I'm going to share with you what changed my life overnight and can do the same thing for you based on this. But I want you to know that it will take intention, it will take practice, and it will take consistency. Remember when we talked about choice? Everything's a choice, right? And I think the most important thing that I ever realized is the most important choice that I ever have is how I choose to spend my time and what I choose to do with it and what I choose to focus on. Most important question. I ask that every day, every single day. So when you start to shift your energy, you will automatically start to experience alignment from a higher place. It can be no other way. Now, this goes both ways, by the way. If you're stuck in a learning loop, if you're stuck in a story, you're going to be in that vibration and you're going to get more of that energy. And if you choose again to use forgiveness, to look at the experience for the lesson, to step into the unknown and trust in the higher guidance of where it's asking you to go, everything will start to reconfigure that way as well. It can be no other way. It's all about the universal law of vibration. My world changed overnight because my perspective changed. I want you to hear that. It changed overnight when I started working with hospice patients, and this is why. When you change your perspective, you change your state of being, and you begin to change what shows up in your life. When I started working with people who were dying, people my age, sometimes younger, quickly, 1 week they were fine, another week they weren't. Everything in my life reached a new level of gratitude. It was no longer that I have to go to the gym. It was I get to go to the gym. No longer, I have to go to the grocery store. I get to go to the grocery store. Everything elevated in a level of gratitude that changed everything in my life immediately. When I was doing an interview with New York Times for the article for the book, and I shared this woman said, "This is the best advice I ever heard about how to be happy." is living each day like one little lifetime and finding the beauty in the gratitude of what we're able to do. Honestly, this is the shift. So I want to invite you into that space as well, because overnight, everything started to change for me immediately. Now, signs that you're on your path. Okay, so this was a coat check. So you're going to start getting signs that you're on your path. You also, by the way, with so much love to you, are getting signs that you're not on your path. And what I want to say about that is that, are you in a place where the same things keep happening to you? Why does this keep happening to me? Why? And again, no judgment here. The universe, God, your higher self loves you so much that it's trying to say, not the right way, not on your path. So they're getting blocks. Sometimes you'll get an illness, you'll lose a job, you'll have a breakup, you'll just constantly be given an opportunity to change course. And here's where the magic really is. When I think I'm supposed to be doing something, that's ego. Okay, well, hear me out on this. When I think, oh, I'm supposed to be doing, let's use this as an example, doing the Good Life Masterclass, life class. I'm supposed to be doing this now, 10 years ago when I started it, because yeah, it's really beautiful and wonderful and the whole thing. It wasn't time. If I kept pushing in that direction, I would have kept getting blocked. I would have kept being frustrated. I'm sure there have been multiple things that would be happening for me. I know to not push, but to flow. So you're going to get signs that you're not on your path. And then I want you to know there's going to be signs that you are on your path. So this is what happens for me. 444 is the sign of angels. You can look up if you see repetitive numbers, or you start noticing just incredible things in nature and just the present moment awe of the journey that's out there. The question is this: are you paying attention? So I want to tell you another sign that I got. And then I also want to be truthful with, I didn't like it. Not that I love the sign, but I didn't like why I was getting it. So and I'm sorry about the picture's not the best, but it was in the car driving. Okay. Pandemic, New York City. Love my New York City, still do, always will. And I was forced to leave my apartment. And so it really took, it took a long time to actually call it, probably a lot longer than should have been, being rerouted from that city for reasons I didn't know. Again, I tell you, I love the park. I have my people. It's just a part of me. So when I was being rerouted, I wasn't happy about it. I'll just put it that way. And I remember, making a joke about, the angels going to God and making different things happen in the apartment that was like, she'll leave now, she'll leave now, she'll leave now. And them going to God and saying, God, she's not leaving. We haven't seen anything like it. There's nothing like it. This woman is so stubborn, which yes, I can be. And then there was something that made the apartment completely not livable. But here's what I want to say. So pack the car, moving in COVID time to an apartment sight unseen, which is like, who does that? And here's what it says. So it's 5 hours away from when I'm going to get to the new home. And it says, look at the arrival time. You can't make this up. So I still will talk to God, universe, and say, okay, don't like it, but I'm listening. I'm listening. And that's a really important thing. So it's really important even to acknowledge that it might not be what you want for a few reasons. And yeah, sometimes it's hard when things soften, and change in our lives, but the one change is constant. But looking for the blessings and knowing I'm here, I am guided, I'm here to serve, and I'm going to just surrender to that. You are always being guided. You start becoming a witness and a part of the divine and the miraculous. It starts appearing in front of you. Maybe you'll see, 10 dolphins like I did the other day, like just beautiful things, and just being grateful for all of it and for nature. You start really being connected to the connection that we are all a part of that really is gorgeous and miraculous. You're here for a reason. There is nothing that is happening by accident. You have a purpose. You have a role in this world. I know you know it. That's why you're here tonight. And I know that's what you're showing up with. So are you ready to assist in this planetary shift, showing up in love, doing your own healing? Because when we do our own healing, we do the collective healing. It has a ripple effect. We're here to make the world a better place because we're in it. We're here to leave the world a better place because we were in it. When we do our own healing, we do heal the world. It has a collective effect. So your invitation, if you would like to join me. Now, this is something, again, I've been about 10 years, I guess, wanting to do. It's threaded into everything I do, but this is really the coaching, the course, the spiritual program, life course. And it's really about finding your life force, how to access peace, find joy, and align with your life's purpose. And we call that universal life mastery. It is a 7-module online program of coaching with me. And so, yes, I guess it's the time that I need to go ahead and get the link. So hang on with me 1 second, everyone, because I am here doing the do by myself, and I don't want to lose it. So if you give me a minute, I'm just going to continue with this, and then I'll put it in the chat. A 7-module journey back to access your soul's blueprint. Remember, we talked about end-of-life patients talking about they get it now. They had a whole blueprint that was already formed before they came in, where we find peace, where we find purpose, and where we find fulfillment. And divine alignment already exists. It's just needing to match the vibration. How great is that? You don't have to do more. You need to just be the vibration of. Wow. It's already there. It's already there. It's not a destination far away. It's a vibration away. And again, that's from the choices and the practice of choosing that love. This course is for you if you are a woman in midlife. And again, we can have men join as well. So I don't want anyone to feel that I'm doing that. But this is my journey. This was me. And I know there's so many here who are in the same space. And I want to create this group to help that you can reach where you want to go if that's your choice. So if you are in midlife, has taken care of everyone else, again, many of us is tired of pushing and wants to find that inner peace, carries emotional weight that you were never meant to hold, so that we really have to learn what's ours to pick up and what is ours not to. And that does not mean to be passive, to be not present with what's happening, but there is a technique to be empathetic and compassionate without taking it on and getting yourself out of alignment. If you feel stuck between who you were and who you're becoming, and again, who you know you're meant to be. If you want clarity, purpose, and meaning, if you desire to live from intuition, intuition is going to be in the future what we teach about. Honoring that. We shut it down now. We shut children down with their creative intuition. Don't say that. Again, shaping the false belief systems. The new world, the new earth, the new future will be that leaning into the intuition, the higher self being what we teach to listen to, because that is your truth. That is your truth. Alignment, and of course, love, knows that there's more to life and feels the call. Are you feeling called? I know I'm here to hold light for this world and this shift. Wants to stop resisting and start receiving. Wants to heal. That's a big part of it, right? It's like that first step in the conscious awakening, the heal piece, the forgiveness piece, the letting go piece of the stories. Wants to feel that joy and wants to live without regret. I know I do. One of the things I thought about all the time from people at the end of life is, what do I want to clean up and what do I want to do so when I get there, which I don't know when, that I'm not sitting with regret that I didn't do it, that I'm not sitting with regret that I didn't do it. And so I just went too far, and feels a responsibility to anchor light. How many of you here tonight are feeling that you are those light anchors that are here to hold that vibration for the shift that's happening in the world today, for humanity and for the planet? Anchor light, anchor love, and anchor healing into this world. So what you will experience inside the life course: inner peace, clarity, and understanding, purpose and direction, emotional healing, increased life force. Yes, please. Alignment, joy, and flow. You know, at the end of life, I'll often say that time as you and I know it disappears. Time, clock time, that's what happens when you really start to get present. It's pretty magical when you start to step into this flow. The beingfullness. So you've heard of mindfulness, but I'm talking of beingfullness in all four bodies of energy. We'll practice the techniques for that. High frequency living, co-creation with the universe. Tell me just what do you want me to do? And leave a legacy of love. I will take you on my exact personal daily and weekly practices that I use to stay in high alignment, to be of abundant service and flow. And by the end of this course, you will rediscover life's sacred meaning, learn the number one regret of the dying and how you can avoid it, understand the four universal truths revealed by the dying, awaken and access your soul's blueprint, and live your life's purpose. We're all looking for that. Heal through forgiveness of yourself, others, and life itself. Raise your vibration through care of the physical vessel. Yeah, there's some techniques and things we need to know about that. By the way, if we're living for so very long, I want to live feeling good. We have to take a proactive, intentional role in that. Embody beingfullness, a state of peace, joy, and divine aligned flow, and co-create consciously with the universe to help birth the new earth. So what you get in the course is 7 transformational modules. I'm going to be teaching you live, coaching you as well. 7 guided spiritual practices to access high alignment. There's 3 months in the ULM membership. So that is something that is a bonus to this course. You have weekly live healing meditations. So that's the ULM part. That's on Saturday. That's optional if you'd like to be part of the healing meditation, and the Align Eyes, which is a spiritual fitness class. That's part of ULM. The 7 guided classes are going to be on Tuesday night, starting next week at 7 p.m. Eastern time to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. ULM is an added bonus for 3 months if you'd like that membership, again, to strengthen the practice. There's going to be reflection worksheets, journal prompts, a supportive global community, and you have lifetime access to the course. So your values are $2,400. Your tuition is just $3,000. I love that. $369. Or you can do 2 simple payments of $222. I'll give you that in a minute. So there's 50 spots that are open for this journey. This is a live coaching, and this is something that I am going to be leading. And so I cannot take on more than 50 people for multiple reasons of making sure everyone gets what they need, gets them settled, has that experience. This will start on January 6th at 7 p.m. Everything will be recorded. So if you cannot make it live, and again, please, I'm going to put the link in the chat in just a minute. Do not worry, and I don't want you to feel pressured. There is the peace of mind. If you have a guarantee, this is done because this is the ask of what is needed to share at this moment, and it is honor to be able to share this with you. You have a 365-day peace of mind guarantee. If you complete half of the course and feel no shift, I'll refund you in full. No questions, no pressure. You are protected. You are loved. You are the only one that knows what's right for you. So I want to thank you so much for being a part of the global shift. And yes, I am going to just give me a minute and I will then answer your questions, but I have to go to the link and I'll put it in your chat. But again, if you put in the chat, we'll save your spot as well. I don't want anyone to feel pressured about not being able to get there quickly or whatever it may be. So just be mindful. I'm sorry, it's just me doing this. So I do have to move things around a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put the life course link in your chat. And then what we're going to do is answer your questions. So hang on one second because I have to undo my host tools. Why aren't you doing this? Okay, so here's, this should be to everyone. So let's hope that that goes through. If not, I'll do it again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the PowerPoint for a minute. I'm going to stop my share. Hi, guys. There you are. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put the chat back on. So go ahead and get in there. And I believe if you click on the link that you can get in to see more about the life course. And so that would be, I believe the first link is going to be your full pay option if you'd like. And then I'm going to put in the payment plan option. So just give me 1 second. It's the 2 payments. Please ask any questions that you want. Share your feedback. It's a space of love. If stuff came up for you today, if you had aha moments, this is about planting seeds. This is about helping to assist you on your journey if that's what you want. Because remember that there is absolutely no judgment. And I really want you to know that everyone is on their divine path. Kimberly, yeah. So I'm going to share the whole recording with you. So I'm going to turn it around and I'll send it to you in an email. Jenny says, this has been a lovely session. Thank you. You are so welcome. You know, we see each other and we know that there's a lot of pain in the world right now and a lot of suffering. How do we show up for one another? And again, I'm not here to fix it. I'm not here to change anyone. I'm not here to force it, but I am here to witness and to share. And I've seen the change. Yeah, Susan, thank you. Even if you, just be with them and listen. Thank you, Judy. Noted, interested. So you should be able to click on those links. I just want to make sure if you're having any trouble with them, you let me know. If there's something that was seeded in you tonight, that there was a part of this presentation or webinar that you needed to hear, that really did, because, it's so beautiful that one change in perspective, and there are things that I have been part of, and sometimes it doesn't land or you don't hear it the way that you do at other times. And so the law of vibration. Okay, Susan, Carolyn, I'm going to take that down for you. Hey, Chris, love this. Excellent reminders, perfect timing. Thank you. Hey, Chris, thank you, my dear, for all of that. I feel like for me, a couple of things that if we want to pull out Doula Giver's pearls. Hey, Dusty, we talked about you today with the Thailand. We have so many beautiful, incredible people in this community. Yeah. Happy New Year to you as well. Beautiful. Yeah. More on that. You came up in my mind today. We need to do another, but the law of vibration. And I think just understanding a few key things is the law of vibration, because most people don't realize that you're constantly sending out a signal. And the universe loves you so much that it's going to match what you are asking for. So if I'm going to use an example, if I'm resentful, let's just say, and again, there's no judgment here, but if I'm resentful over a relationship and a marriage that didn't work and a betrayal and anger and all the kind of like part of the human things. And if I'm hanging on to that and I'm the victim, which could be very true that you were, although I feel like there's roles for all of us. But if I'm pointing blame and I'm creating that reality, and that even though that relationship's over, if I want to hold on to that, it's going to keep me stuck in that. I'm not going to be able to really move past it. So incredibly important. All right. So I'm going to do some of the shares here. All right. So, okay. All right, you guys. Thank you. All right. So we have a lot of people that are saying they're in. So I'm going to make note of all of that, and we'll send you an email with the link for both options that you want, but I'm definitely noting. Thank you, Sandra, for that. Noted. Yeah. Thank you for being who you are and all you do, Teresa. Thank you. That's really sweet. And thank you for you and being all that you are. Somewhere within, even as a child, I have felt and known about vibration, energy within that most have numbed out. Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute, because we know as children we come from the light, right? So we're like, this is great, kind of pop out. We're like, this is going to be a great experience. It's all love. We're connecting with nature and animals and the vibe. And then, oof, it gets shut down. And then we realize what it feels like to be judged or not loved or hurt by people many times that we trust. And again, this is all about learning. And then we've got to find our way back home. So you can think of this course and this as a remembering, as a sacred remembering of who you truly are, and then how that works. Pastor Jamie says, thank you for the session. You rock. I appreciate you beyond words. I have emailed my comments and questions. Beautiful. Joyous New Year to everyone. Yeah. What a beautiful way to bring in the new year with all of you. I really appreciate that. Okay. You were all noted who were saying you were in. That is beautiful. Got it. Dora says, I'm in. I understand the law of vibration, and need help with the consistency. Thank you. Yeah, Doris, that's it. Because if you think about 40, 50, even 60 years, or maybe more, of being told a certain way, we're pulled back into that comfort zone, not a comfort like the joy of being comfort, but a familiar comfort. So it's going to take some practice to elevate the vibration and have that become more of your steady state. And that's why we do simple practices within. That's why I have, and again, they are simple, you guys. When I was thinking about you and when I was taking my presence walk today, I was like, all right, well, you're going to share your daily practices and what you do. And I was like, that's going to sound, it can sound heavy. They need to know some of these are 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like, it's just a question of stepping back in to awareness. So I don't want you to think that these are heavy, but the key is consistency, because now it starts to become, now you start to strengthen that muscle. And when you hear your higher guidance voice, you don't even question it. You know what it is. When it feels resonant, when you feel called to go to speak to that woman at the store because she is something, you don't question it. It's like it's guiding you. And it's just such an amazing, by the way, it's a very liberating place to get to, because you don't have to try and figure it all out anymore. You're being led. I love that. So consistency. And I love that, Doris, I love that honesty. And we're going to do it together. Phoebe says, my partner wife is in memory care and now begun hospice, though she is still wandering the halls. So tons of thinking about, sense, and align with. Yeah, sending you so much love around that. Patricia says, what time are the meditation and spiritual fitness sessions? Okay, so let's talk about the two. Thanks, Chris. Let's talk about the life course. So your 7 coaching and life course is going to be on Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to be teaching you live, and then we'll do Q&A. You get a 3-month membership in ULM. Some of you, there's a few people that are in there already, because remember, I've been I've been wanting to do things for a while. So we have a group in there that, again, beautiful. Those sessions, there's going to be 2 a week. So one is going to be on Wednesdays at 10:30 to 11:30 in the morning. And that's the Align-A-Size. It's going to be breath work, movement, affirmations. It gets all 4 bodies in one, of high alignment. And then there's Saturdays, which is a healing meditation at 10:30 to 11:30. Feel invited to them, not obligated to come to all of them, but you're going to have access to all of them. Jennifer, yay. Thank you so much. Yeah, Melinda, you're welcome. She says, I'm ready. Thank you for offering this. You're so welcome. Beautiful. And thank you, Suzanne. Excellent. Just signed up. Oh, so yay. So, okay. So those of you, the links, if you're having any trouble with them, we'll send them to you. But if you tell me in the chat that you want a spot, I'm going to hold your spot for you if you're having any trouble with the link. But thanks, Anne. Yeah, this is really incredible work. What we're doing here is we're building healing and community on an elevated level to then build programs. We want to build more programs of service out in the world, like the respite house in Guatemala for EKR, like doula houses, like things for the animals, what children, right? Oof, it's so beautiful what we can do. And it's just a question of choice, as it always is. So this is the community again, that we are shifting the vibration, and just incredible things. Doors open, guidance happens from that. Sandra says, I connected to all that you're talking about and am able to hear guidance. I know my part is to take the next right, and guidance is always truth. I'm in. I love it. Next right step, she says. Thank you, Sandra. Let's talk about next right step, because I'm going to teach you in your course to just get into a state of presence, heart center, and ask, what is my next coherent next step that I'm to take? By the way, this is all I do. And I don't push it either. I just say, show me. I'm just here to do what I signed up to do before I came in. I have no idea what that is analytically. I know what that is in my heart. And I just ask to be guided with clarity to the next step of the highest service. And so that's a technique that we're going to teach you as well. It's really beautiful. Thank you, Shannon. Teresa says 1111 has been numerical guide for her. Yeah, I think a lot of you have. If it's, again, are you noticing them? Are you noticing what's happening? Kath says, I helped someone due to a hunch and it saved her life. So amazing. Yeah. Don't question it. Teeny little quick story. I was doing a death cafe in New York City, which, by the way, I didn't know this for like the longest time of the library. It's 444 Amsterdam Avenue. I'm not kidding. You can't make this up. That's the address. But here's what happened. I'm at the cafe, and there's a beautiful woman who I would visit, who lived alone, who was in her 90s. And I would visit in the afternoon, bring her for some food sometimes, and all the goodness. And I was in that cafe, and I said, I'm going to go visit Roxy. I never visit Roxy after 7 o'clock. It was something that doesn't happen to me, but it came in that I'm going to go do that. So here I go to her house. I wave to her. She walks over to the walker. She sits at the window. She goes to the door. She opens the door. And there's rushing water in front of her. She couldn't really see that well because she's in her 90s. Rushing water. Her toilet was overflowing in her apartment. She would never have seen this until the whole place was flooded. I got the impulse to go see her, not questioning it because it's the higher guidance voice. And I was able to get that turned off, had to roll up my sleeves and clean the bathroom, and that's fine. But it saved her whole apartment, because I don't know where she would have gone or what she would have done. Go with your higher guidance impulse. I love that, Kath. Thank you for that. We'll teach you all about that, not to question it. Cal says, letting go of fear and anger into replace with love is really hard in these times. It is. It is. I'm not going to say it's not. But here's what oh my gosh, I could start crying because it's so important. And it's really heavy, the world. We were all scared during COVID, right? I mean, when COVID hit and it was just bonkers. I was in New York City. I had COVID. I mean, they were telling you, don't call the hospital. You didn't know if this was, it. You really had to just surrender what I knew at this moment, because we worked in end of life and so many people were reaching out to us. I had to say, I have to stay as grounded and healthy of mind, body, spirit as I possibly can to show up at the highest. Because if I let fear and if I let all of the things, right, and there are things, I'm not going to be able to show up. And so I totally understand you. And so we'll talk to you about what we want to call gentle participation. And I'm not saying that in a way to not have responsibility on certain things that are happening, but I want us to be very aware of what we're tapped into and how it drains. It can really drain and get us kinked out. I mean, one of the worst, we got to work with it though. Not this. And I'm so sorry about Maple chiming in. She had a lot to say. But this little device, wake up in the morning device. I mean, I'm guilty too, right? get on there, all of a sudden you're in a quicksand of Facebook down rabbit holes, and you're starting to like it. Just, we have to be really mindful of what we allow in. So we're going to talk a lot about that. So gentle participation in the density areas, right? And so we have to be mindful. I'm doing every day now, I'm doing a presence and gratitude walk outside in nature. Doesn't have to be long, it has to be just presence. It has to be grateful, connecting, nature, tree. And I mean, it works like unbelievable wonders what you can do. So we're going to help you with little things that, again, create that strengthening to the being part. Yeah, Sandra, I'm going to record all the sessions for you and you have them for life. Terry says, is the Wednesday, Saturday events included in the 369? Yeah. So they're all included. Yep. So when you really think about it, there's 3 opportunities a week of live events. That's great. Like, it's good, you guys. So if you want it, but only you have to decide, this is really a moment. Are you feeling ready? Because again, there's no judgment, but if you aren't, so many people are, like, go into your heart. And in fact, you can do a technique right now. What is your next right step? And you can even say to yourself, is this the next right step? Should I join this? And your cells could be holding up, what do they do at New Year's? Holding up all the things and say, yes. Or maybe it's not time, but that's what it feels like. Like, you have to learn to listen to the response of your beautiful body. All right. Christina says, hello, Suzanne. Thank you for everything you have shared. This has shown me that the path I'm on held and guided. Will we still be doing a guided deathbed practice during the Zoom? I changed it to the coherence one, but let's do it because it's not too heavy. But here's what I want you to do. Go to the end of your journey. Go to the end of your journey in this experience. Was we're gonna. That poor little girl and fireworks really does. And some people are popping some. But here's what we're going to do. Maple, we're doing a meditation. Just go to the end of, imagine that you are at the end of this journey. What do you regret not having done? Because people are not talking about the 3 cars, the bank accounts. That's never what comes up. It's always that they didn't step out of their human part into their truth, which is the being. Would you regret not being a part of this group? Do you feel, if you're at the end of your life, would you look back and say, that January 1st event with that woman, what was her name? Oh, okay, Suzanne, right, the death doula. Would you look back on that and say, I should have done that. I think I should have done that. But go ahead. Let's just take a minute and just close our eyes, take a deep breath through our nose and hold and let it go. And let's go to that end of life. I'm doing it with you. Let whatever comes up for you come up. What do you regret that you haven't done that you're supposed to be doing? Let's just take a minute with that. I'm going to look in the chat. What is something that you're supposed to be sharing, a gift, something you're supposed to be letting go of, that you are going to regret that you haven't done that? Let's just take that minute and do it surrounded in love. There's no judgment here. You all can feel free to share anything in the chat. But what I will say, what comes up many times is that I wish I would have let go of X. I wish I would have done what I know I was here to do and not been scared to do it. I wish I would have forgiven myself. I wish I would have forgiven others. All of these are very strong themes that we hear that we can all relate to. No judgment there. Chris says, thank you. I missed the first hour. Sorry about that. Deadline work. I got that. And it's always interesting, that word deadline, like where things come from. I don't know how my mind worked, but it's okay. So I'm like, who came up with that and why? But that's okay. I get it though. I understand. So hope you, I will absolutely send you the replay, and thank you for your being here. Yeah. Thank you, Brenda. Kath says that was linked to the training I had with you, Suzanne. I realized, Suzanne, since I had safety concerns for her blood sugar, etc., her gallbladder was infected and she had 800 or higher, had to be revived. Oh, thank you, Kath. Go with your gut, and thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. What is Betty says, what is ULM membership again? It's Universal Life Mastery. And here's the thing. And again, I do a lot of really intentional thinking about this. We have a membership that we've been running with a group of people. It opened for some people and then just stayed that way because it wasn't time to open it for more people. Where we get together and we do group healing meditations and talk about, the spiritual side of it. I'm adding in the spiritual fitness of a line of size into that. But what I really want to say is that I thought, many times, do you just open up that membership and let people just come into that membership? And I have to tell you, what's on my heart is no. And why it's no is because if people didn't go through the life course, 7 modules, I think that it would be doing a disservice to have them just in that. It would be like, okay, they can do a group meditation, but if they really have the foundations and they do the practice, wow. So right now, that's what we're doing. Oh, you found the answers. Okay, beautiful. Love Maple. Thank you, Doris. I love her too. Like, I love her so much, as I do, and I'm sure we all animals. And I do feel for her because I know that she gets super scared when there's those noises. The other thing that came up, and this is really interesting, walking her, if you have a dog and you've had a trainer, so Maple had a rough beginning to her life. She's absolutely amazing. It was difficult to bond with her at first. Once we did, she has separation anxiety and she's amazing. But here's what happened. She was barking at other people and dogs and very nervous and kind of skittish. And so when I got my trainer, the trainer said, oh, she thinks, and she's, relatively tiny, she thinks that she needs to protect you, that she's the alpha and she's protecting you. And this is a big responsibility for such a little pumpkin, right? And I thought, oh my gosh. So she said, the minute that we switch roles, that you're the alpha, meaning that you go ahead of her and all the things, then she's like, oh, mom's got it. It works like that. I want to let you know that this is just like how life works. Once you switch from the ego being the frenetic kind of out there trying to field out all the things and being spun around, and you let your higher self be the leader, all of a sudden the ego is going to go, oh, okay, she's got it. I'm going to go along with this. I mean, it's really fascinating how the switch can happen and how that can change your life. Nancy says, I cannot wait. Me either. Oh my gosh, you guys, I was so excited doing this presentation for you. I was like, stop, Suzanne, stop adding on. I was like, oh, and I want to tell them this, and I want to share this picture. And I was like, stop. And I was like, I'm having so much fun with this. It is so beautiful and it's so exciting. And I'm so thrilled to be teaching it. But I'm like, don't overwhelm them tonight with everything. But it is really exciting. I cannot wait either, because it's so beautiful to watch people blossom into their truth. And it's such an honor to be on your journey with you. The never-ending vibration of love shows up as alignment and peace. Listen, you can hear it when your ear is tuned in. Yeah. You're going to see, you're going to experience just beautiful things. And the other thing that I want to share with you is that When you change your frequency and how you live, other people change the way they respond to you. So you may have some challenging relationships in work, in your home. By the way, welcome to the human experience. When you change the way you show up, it changes their reaction. So there's a dance that's, I mean, it's just amazing. 2019 on Christmas Eve, I was in Central Park in New York City and saw two falcons. Now, hear me out. It's New York City, two falcons. So one, I was walking the reservoir of, and again, I'm not looking, I'm just trying to be present, which I am. So somebody was looking up. And so this big falcon, which is not uncommon because birds fly over there. I mean, it's uncommon. But then I was on 76th Street and Amsterdam on my way home, and people were looking up and there was a smaller falcon. I mean, who does that? What is happening here? So it's just pay attention, because it's a magical world. And so it's available for us if we see. Okay, Tempha says, how to keep my frequency stable in high vibration? So I want you to know this, that is that don't expect yourself. I don't even think that Buddhist monks 24/7 are in like a complete state of bliss. They're probably the closest, but you're a human being. So having grace for yourself and knowing that you are vacillating between the two. However, when we are so far away, you can almost think of yourself, think of the universe, God, that unconditional loving energy having umbilical cords to all of the people that are from it, right? Coming to have their separate experience. How pinched off is your umbilical cord? That's kind of how I think about it, because if we don't know about this and we come so far separate from the core of who we are, it can be a really, really, really difficult, lonely, painful existence. And when we start to unpinch the cord of love, we start to go back. So don't think we're still having the human being experience. You're going to kind of go, you're going to go back and forth. But again, once you learn to strengthen the muscle, just like when you strengthen a muscle, you don't have to do the muscle action for it stays toned. So just like you're starting to strengthen your relationship with your being self by doing your morning practice of just emptying out and bringing in light and love, you kind of have this energetic bubble for the day. So it's really a consistent practice, and it's not hard. It's the awareness is everything. Okay. I have found that sleeping with headphones, in my case, hearing impaired, while listening to the following helps me stay fine-tuned. Thank you for that, Pastor Jamie. Yeah, anything that helps. One of the things that I've done, and I think is really probably not a good thing, is to, fall asleep to the TV or watch TV until we're going to sleep. I think and in the course, I'm going to teach you about the importance of sleep and how your sleep really has, and gosh, we are just not doing well with our sleep, but there's really important things that happen during your sleep and getting to bed earlier. And I know I'm guilty the last 2 nights. And I know last night was the holiday, but stayed up later. But it's really important to have these good practices for your mental well-being and just different repairs of the body. So not falling asleep to the TV, it would be helpful. I'm talking to myself too. Sandra says, I trained as a death doula in 2025. I'm a birth doula and a newborn nanny. I'm sharing my gifts, but struggled to let go of childhood trauma. Yeah. So sending you a lot of love around that, Sandra, and just want to remind us all that childhood trauma is the most deep trauma. It's deep. It's ingrained. We can undo it. And one of the techniques that I really want to share with you is in the forgiveness technique that I have created, is really looking at the situation, the person, from a different lens and trying to understand, even if it was you or them, let's go back to that space. And let's just say it's a parent that caused you harm. Were they doing the best they could with where they were at the time? Now, listen, there's a lot to that. And I also want to say this, that we never know other people's full journeys. We never know them. We never know them, everyone. So going back to the universal laws and what our patients say about not judging people does not mean that they are not held responsible for actions. Everyone is accountable and everyone has to be accountable for what they do. It takes care of itself. But when you can see your father as a young child being beaten by his alcoholic father and abused, and so it gives you some empathy to his alcoholism, it allows you to step back for a minute and have empathy for the child, and allows you to give forgiveness in a space that removes the energetic attachment. So there's more layers to that, but the human experience, not an easy one, but when we know how it works, and we're willing to do the work, boy, what's on the other side of that is pure freedom. What's on the other side of you being able to look at something with a new awareness, bless it and let it go, frees you in a way that you cannot describe. So we'll talk about that. Listen to the people in Thailand in the temple, what they said. They're sitting there. People are dying. A 36-year-old pancreatic cancer, the happiest time of my life, been in this temple. How can you say that? Because you found forgiveness. It was like you took the backpack, the weights off. It's really beautiful. Kimberly says, my regret would have been fear of taking chances. Yeah. But I'm actively making a complete career change to follow my passion. So looking forward to 2026. Yay, Kimberly. So the other question that is a good one to ask yourself is, what would you be doing if you weren't scared? What would you be doing if you weren't scared? What would your life look like? I look at my dad and it breaks my heart because he was so living under other people's, what they wanted from him his whole life, even to this day. He's a doctor, but he wanted to be an archaeologist. And he just never lived his truth. And you can see it just being this suffocation and this pain that he silently carries with him his whole entire life. And now it's almost over because, wow. And has the stuff and has the title and has money in the bank. Who cares? Who cares if every single day I see the weight of the pain and I can't fix it for somebody? I can't do the work, but I can sure learn from it. And we can sure talk about it. And that came from, his parents. You're going to be a doctor. I don't think they gave him a choice to be a lawyer, but anyway, and God bless, like the doctors and the lawyers. So I often say, what would your life look like if you weren't scared? What would you be doing if you weren't scared? And then RuPaul, if you know who that is, but I love this thing that he says, other people's opinions are none of my business. And I love that. Guys, you know what happens as we start to age? We don't care. Well, we care a little bit, but we don't care that much about what other people think. I remember the first time that I told my mother no, and it wasn't a mean no. I used to just do everything, because we're multitaskers, we're women, we're caregivers, all of it. And I remember when she wanted me to come drive and do this thing, and she didn't need me. And I was like, no, I really can't. She goes, no. She had never heard me say no. But you have to. I'm taking care of so many families, so many people. This is such important work. So it's really important for you to stand in your beautiful truth. Barbara says, is this course for people in midlife only? I am 73. Gosh, yeah, I love that. You can take it at any age. I wish my dad would take it. Thank you. No, resonates. Yeah, I shouldn't say that it's just for midlife. By the way that they're working on stuff, we might be going to 140, who knows? But that I don't think that's always a good thing. Like everyone's like, oh, living long is let's live forever. And I'm like, what? Um, I would love to have you, Barbara. If your heart is saying that that's your move, let's do it. 73 is super young. Um, Dora said, be able to let fear go and just do it. Just do it. What is the worst that can happen, everyone? There's no such thing as perfection. You will not make everyone happy. I promise you that. As much as you're trying to make your family happy and your mom happy and your sisters happy and get everyone the right present for Christmas or whatever, it's impossible. Don't do that to yourself. Make sure that you are aligned with your truth. Yeah, Carol, I will share the recording for sure. Teresa, thank you. Laura says, thank you for speaking a language I understand and want more of in my life. Looking forward to the life course. Thank you. Yeah, beautiful. We're going to have a lot of fun, you guys. Melody says, spending more time studying scriptures, more time with grandchildren, more supportive of my grown children. I am doing the special greater bonding with husband who is on hospice. Thank you, Melody. I loved meeting you too. That was such a gift for me. One of the things that is important and what we come to realize is what if we met each other exactly where each other is in their journey, with no judgment, with no, you should be doing this, you need to do this, you need to do, which we all, I think there's good intention obviously behind that. But I mean, do you realize what we're saying to our children? We'll use that as an example. Children are growing, they're going through their challenges. And when we say, well, you should be doing this, or you should get a job over here, we're telling them that there's something wrong, that we're not meeting them right where they are. Meeting somebody and accepting them purely and lovingly right where they are, and just being witness to where they are. And you're here for them and holding them in that space. Most powerful medicine you could possibly give. I love that. Jana, such a fabulous class tonight. Thank you so much, Suzanne, for all you do. Happy New Year to us all. A blessed 2026. Yeah, let's take the light. Yes. By the way, 2026, magic year, by the way, energetically, everyone. So that's why there's no accidents that universe said, just wait, Suzanne, 2026. Oh, yes, the first day of it. Let's go. Let's do it. So it all happens when you take your hands off the wheel. Jessica says forgiveness is freedom. Absolutely. Pastor Jamie says University of Hard Knocks alumni. Yeah. Thank you. Rockstar. All of you. Rock stars number one. Well, literally, because you're like star seeds, but rock stars for coming into this world for saying, I'll go. This is the big shift. It's going to be rocking and rolling the whole time. I'll go be a part of it. Woohoo. Okay. So rock stars for saying that, but also for holding the light and for showing up and for the experiences that you've been through, because agreeing to have those experiences elevated your compassion, your light, and your calling. Look for the gift in the experience. And the most painful ones from my journey and many people's are our greatest teachers. Very hard to see at the time. Not easy to see at the time. But when you can look back and when you get to that place, that changes everything. Carmen says, so true, feels true that we age people's opinions matter. Yeah, you do. You're like, okay. Do you, right? It's okay. And that's really true. Love you, do you. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to convince you. I'm just going to let you do you and love you so much. Teresa says, I'm 70 and see all my prior years as preparation toward emotional freedom and the ability to show up in love and not judgment. Yeah, it's all like the preparation. It's all like the preparation for the moment that you are able to shift the perspective. Edna says, thank you so much, Suzanne. I definitely need more of this. Just need to look at my schedule. Beautiful. Thank you for that, Edna. Cal says, are you going to be giving in-person live lectures or workshops? I just did almost like a full year on the road and did a whole bunch with the book launch. And so Baby Puff, as I call her, Maple, the last two, I was in Boise, Idaho, and then I went to Guatemala in November. She didn't do great. Like after the second one, it was a lot for her. And so if she can come with me, like I'm trying to stay put for a little bit and do things from here, but I will be doing more. But we've kind of made this agreement that she has to be able to come. So that might mean I have to be in the car. So I'll let dates know, but I do want to give time to her and get back grounded and settled and pay attention to that. Okay. Yes, beautiful. I love that. Susan says, I am in, signed up, so excited. Thank you so much. So excited, you guys. I'm so excited about this and so excited for you. Yeah, live in New York City, Cal. Totally. I keep asking universe. I'm not trying to push, but I'm like, can I get back to New York City? Do you think it's possible that we do like a combination just if it works out? Is it okay? So yes, I will. Also have to call American Airlines and see how I can get Maple on a flight and buy her a ticket. Cause yeah, love New York City. So that is definitely something we're putting into the universe. Yeah, Carmen, thank you so much. Christina says, thank you for sharing the guided deathbed practice. I would be doing more fun, loving movement if I wasn't scared. I have been a death doula since 2024. Since then, I have been helping family and friends process their loved ones departing. The course I took said not to go to hospice in the role as a death doula, but to volunteer as a caregiver. Do you find that to be true with your work in hospice? Have you personally found that death doulas aren't able to volunteer for services? It depends. First of all, Christina, shining lots of love around you, my dear. It really depends on your hospice. So we have our graduates who are hired by hospice working. I really think that the volunteer role serves you if you don't have a lot of experience and getting your feet wet and letting the hospice get to know you, but you want to be paid for your services. So my opinion is that you should present yourself as a professional and you can be an adjunct to them and be the death doula for their families that need a physical person staying there. We're really important. And really needed. And the testimonials from the hospice companies about the role of our doulas being a part of it, life-changing. Yeah. Melody, thank you for that. Terry says, Delta 150 one-way for Sunny Cat. They must be in the soft pet carrier. Oh, okay. You guys have a conversation going. Got to go. Love Pastor Jamie. Thank you guys. Yes, we went on. Okay. Gosh, 2 hours. Okay. Sorry. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am going to send this back to you tomorrow. If you have any questions, let me know. For those of you who are going into life course, so exciting. And you'll get all of your information and just get ready. Just get ready because life is so good. And we're here together. So big hug to you. Thank you and happy New Year, everyone. And we'll see you in the class. Bye, guys.